Welcome to the Whisky Burn. My name's Jay and this is my Whisky Den. Well, not far out now from the big day. So this episode is all about little stocking filler gifts for you to get that loved one for Christmas. Stay tuned. I'll be bringing you lots of gift ideas for whiskey. So here we are, you're looking for that little gift idea for Christmas, little stocking filler that isn't whiskey, but it's whiskey related. So I have a number of different ideas here that I could chuck at you, find on the internet. They're not massively expensive and they make a great little stocking filler. A little gift for someone to say, thinking about you and thinking about your love for whiskey. Or if they're trying to get into whiskey, start their own journey, this could be a great thing to get them to help them on their way. I'll start with this one. It's a Scotch whisky scratch map. You basically scratch off a distillery when you've had a whisky from it. Not overly expensive, a cheap frame, and you know what? Great little present. Take it off the wall, scratch it off, and you can see your journey making its way around Scotland for Scotch whisky. Now obviously this is just for Scotch whisky, but I haven't actually seen one for Wales or Japan or America. I'm sure there are there, but this is a lovely one if you're getting into Scotch whisky. Great little map. Scratch them off once you've had the distillery. Like I say, not overly expensive. This actually came in a frame and I'm pretty sure it was only about £10-15. So there you go. Great first little gift. You could even just buy the map without the frame, I'm pretty sure. So nice little gift there. So moving on. What about a magazine? There's plenty of magazines. You could get a magazine subscription. I think it's called The Whisky Magazine. You could get a subscription to that and they'll send you one every month or every other month. I can't remember which it is. Or there's this one called the Angel Share that you can buy online, and it's quite thick. It's almost sort of that thin card, and it has lovely articles in it. And I'm led to believe that whoever takes the photos and writes it does the whole one magazine. So this is episode 1, and Ian McAllister lifts the lid on the rise of Glen Scotia. Lovely magazines, lovely little reads. If you like little articles, this magazine is absolutely fantastic. It's £10 for one, but I'm pretty sure there's 5. I'm looking over there because that's where they are. I'm pretty sure there's 5 in the collection, and they sometimes have deals on. But a nice little gift for someone who enjoys reading and is starting to get into whiskey or into whiskey. They're really nice, really nicely, like double page spread photos there. They're really smart, really nice. Good present that's called the Angels Share magazine. I wouldn't mind shares in that myself, you know. What about pin badges? Little pin badges, you can find these online or you can find them on most distillers' websites. What have I got here? I have the Glasgow Distillery Company. And I have got here, I couldn't read this before, a small on it, barrel and brand, experimental. No. Anyway, it's about tastings, lots of bottles, but pin badges. Some people love pin badges. You could get yourself lots of pin badges for someone if they're starting to get into whiskey, or if they're into whiskey, you could start a new collection by getting pin badges. Why not? Cheap. Little stocking filler of a present. Next up is something people tend to get, whiskey lovers, and they're called whiskey stones or whiskey rocks. Basically, bung them in the freezer. They get ice cold, stick them in your whiskey, and it cools the whiskey. But what it doesn't do is melt, and therefore it doesn't dilute your whiskey. So therefore you'll have cold whiskey, which again will change the taste and the aroma and the smell and absolutely everything to do with the whiskey. I don't tend to use it. I tend to use ice. If you watched episode 1 back in September of the Whisky Burn, I talk about ice or not to ice. But these, I might start trying these actually. A cheap little gift, nice little stocking filler, cheap, probably about tenner. I would have thought maybe less. Yeah. And you just put them in the freezer, leave them, and then put them in your whiskey. Give them a quick wash, a rinse, put them back in, and they're ready for next time. So whiskey stones or whiskey rocks. You better get those anywhere. Bit daft, but you can get mats. You can actually buy mats. That's my favourite one. It's people naked, their butts running through a wheat field. But you know, you can pick these up anywhere. And they're cheap. And they're quite nice to have around the house, especially if you're a whiskey fan, because you can be like, that's where my whiskey goes. Why not? So there, some mats for whiskey. What else have we got? Different glasses. So you can get all sorts of whiskey glasses. There's also a tall one that I don't have, but maybe I'll be getting that for Christmas. If I'm good, maybe Santa will bring them. That's just sort of stereotypical whiskey glass. You can get a couple of those. You can get them engraved, like this one here. I've got not engaged. I've got it engraved. This is Happy First Father's Day, but you could get Happy Christmas on it. So you could get an engraved glass for someone, or you could just get a nice tumbler, something that looks quite smart, like that. So there you go. Glasses is another option you could get someone. Books. There are thousands upon thousands of books on whiskey. Now, this one is quite interesting. It's the 5th edition. It's the Whiskipedia. So it's got pretty much all the whiskies in here, and it has everything about it. Bit of history, which is interesting. I found it interesting. And it has its tasting notes. Now, I know each distillery has a number of different bottles, etc., etc. But what it does do, it gives you a generalisation of their sort of standard one, their best-selling one, their one they make lots of. And, you know, it tells you... That's interesting. It tells you... there you go. It tells you stuff about the distillery and about that whiskey. And that's really interesting. Also has this at the start, which is interesting. It helps you on your journey. When I started, I was reading about the tasting notes on the side of a bottle. And I was like, oh, right, so I can taste fruits. So, you know, it's a tasting wheel. It helps you guide you down to what you particularly like and stuff. So that is another option. Books. Why not get a book? There's also this one. I got this. It's the 101 Whiskies to Try Before You Die, which I found really quite interesting. There's some... there is actually some American ones in here, but the point I'm making is it's a book. It's cheap. How much was this? It's only probably about a tenner. £14. £14. Nice little book. It shows that you care. What else have we got? Now, this isn't actually mine, but you see the point. I think we all know what one of those are. Cheap little gift, bit of fun. You can also get your name, anything put on these. Not even that expensive. I've seen some of these that are so expensive. So expensive. But you don't need to. Remember, this is just a little stocking filler. So there you go. That's a good idea for you then. Miniatures. There's my little Christmas hat. Pop you back on there. Little miniatures. About range between £4 and something. These are just two that I pulled out the cupboard. I've got a Glenfiddich 15. An Auchentoshan, my apologies, 12-year. I think I might open that. But little miniatures. They don't cost a lot. You can buy maybe 3 or 4. And if someone's getting into whiskey and they're new to whiskey, like I was, and all I had was my favourite Johnny Walker Double Black, get some miniatures. What do miniatures do? Tasting. Try them. Miniatures. Great idea. And not overly expensive. I think that's very good for someone who's starting a whiskey journey. Now, moving on, we've got a couple of big things here. So you can get, like I was talking about the miniatures there, you can get little whiskey tasting boxes like this. Tasting notes. You can see I've had a couple there. And they just give you a variety, like a 10-year-old, a couple of 10-year-olds, actually 3 10-year-olds. This one had a 40-year-old whiskey in it, which I got for my birthday. So you can get nice things like that, a bit more expensive, something for someone special, that one. But another idea, little whiskey tasting box. And here's something else I was thinking of. This is called a smoker kit. This is probably for someone who's slightly more advanced, I would have thought, but adds a bit of fun. So I guess if you're new to whiskey, why not? It's a bit of fun, and it changes the taste of your whiskey. So in this one, for example, you get your different tastes here. I might actually do one on smoking, so you can see it. Oh, there's the lid on that. You put this on your whiskey top burner. There's some whiskey rocks there. Burn it, and the smoke goes into your glass. I will actually do one of these in the new year to show you exactly how that works. That's quite a nice gift. It does change the taste of the whiskey. Obviously, it changes the aroma of the whiskey as well, because obviously it's smoke in it. It puts smoke in the glass. And last up, I'm going to suggest, what about a decanter? Varies in price, all these. You can pay, I've seen some for like £500, but I've seen them, a relatively nice one, for about £30. They all vary in price along here. I bought that myself, inherited that one. That was a gift off a friend, and that was a gift off my daughter. So there you go, and they all mean something to me. So what about a decanter? Depending on your budget, you could pick anything that I've just mentioned and get it as a gift. I reckon the maximum I've got here is probably £100 or less for that. I reckon then the 40-year-old miniature whiskey one was probably second expensive. Cheapest is going to be Matt's at about £2 for two or something like that. Then you've got your whiskey rocks, your map. Loads of ideas. Absolutely. Loads of ideas for last minute gifts for Christmas. Little stocking fillers. Anyway, it wouldn't be the whiskey burn without a cheeky little whiskey. Here we go. This is the Auchentoshan 12-year-old single malt triple distilled. And I will go with this. It'd be rude not to go all in, wouldn't it? So there you go. What do you think? Stocking filler gifts. Tons there, all ranging in price. And what I would say is, why not? If you like the episode, give us a like down there. Give us a subscribe. Leave a comment if you want to see more of this sort of material and stuff in the new year. I'm going to keep going. So make sure you like and subscribe. So, oh, that is so nice. Enjoy your whiskey. And I'll catch you next week where I'll be giving you my top 3 whiskies of 2024. And yeah, there is something special. So make sure you tune in because there's something special next week. Top 3 whiskies of 2024. So from me this week, enjoy your whiskey. Sláinte.